Not so long ago, all you had to do to build yourself a decent gaming rig was to get an OEM PC and slap a decent GPU in it. The most popular pre-builds for this were Socket 775 generation CPUs, as they were cheap and were available everywhere. So today we'll be trying this out for ourselves by slapping a RX 570 into a HP pre-built with a Core 2 Duo at 3 GHz, 4 GB of RAM and a gigantic 500 GB hard drive. The Core 2 that we'll be using is the E8400, which has 6 MB of cache and an FSB speed of 1333 MHz. Why we're doing this is because we want to see if these pre-builts have any life in them, and to see if it's worth your money putting a expensive GPU into a low-end system. With the GPU installed, let's open up Windows and benchmark a few games. The 5 games that we're benchmarking are Far Cry 3, CSGO, PUBG, City Skylines, and Ravenfield. Not in that order, but those are the games. First off, we have CSGO with a minimum frame rate of 51, a maximum of 204, and an average of 86 FPS. Sure, this is playable, but you can get much better results with a slightly more up-to-date CPU. Next up, we have PUBG with a minimum frame rate of 28, a maximum of 47, and an average of 36 frames per second. Again, playable, but my i7 960 keeps this game over 60 FPS constantly with the same graphics card at high settings. After that, we have Far Cry 3, which at the worst pulled 22 FPS, at the best 80 FPS, and we got 48 FPS most of the time. I know the video for this game looks awful, but the CPU couldn't record at a decent quality. Moving on, we have City Skylines at lowest settings. This game really punishes low-end CPUs, and this Core 2 Duo was no exception. We got 21 FPS at the worst, 38 at the best, and a solid average of 30 FPS. Finally, we get to Ravenfield, a game that relies on CPU horsepower to control its bots. We kept it at the default amount of bots, which is 60. This proved a bit too much for the HP, which scored 42 at its best, averaged around 26 FPS, and dropped to 14 when there was a lot happening. So does it make sense to cheap out on the PC and invest into a more powerful graphics card? Well, in this case, the answer was no. The card was limited by the CPU, the low amount of RAM, and the pitiful PCIe X16 Gen 1 slot. If you want to get something like this, you're going to need something a bit more powerful than the Socket 775 system. However, buying a more recent pre-built, such as a Sandy Bridge OEM, or if you want to create content, an X58 based workstation would be a much better option. Just remember that if you're going for a Sandy Bridge desktop, keep it on an i3 or better, and check your power supply, as it might not be up to handling a more powerful GPU. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, as it helps a lot. If you have any questions, comment them down below, and as always, we hope to see you in the next one.